Hey guys, just another short video I want to shoot just to share some of my learnings that I've had on, evaluating asset management companies. One of the things I've recently read upon was Canara Robeco's asset management company's, first earnings call after going public. And in the spirit of trying to gauge their performance, I was trying to understand what its peers are also doing, which is a very healthy exercise of understanding how far this company is, poised to grow, or it's just, just speaking everything in the air, building castles in the air and not really performing on the growth guidance that it's promising in the beginning of the year, right? So in that spirit, I was analyzing all the peers of Canara Robeco's asset management companies, peers, as I was mentioning. One of them I've sort of like looked very seriously after was HDFC Asset Management Company's performance in the last couple of quarters. Another was UTI, Unit Trust of India Mutual Fund, which is interestingly India's oldest mutual fund. And another was Shriram Finance. And a common parameter in all these asset management companies, what they're really looking after is the first most important thing that I want to mention to you is their assets under management. If their asset under management is growing on a quarterly basis or on a year on year basis, it's very safe to say that the company is really poised for growth. And I've made try to expand on those parameters and really understand after assets under management, I'm sorry, what other parameters you can really look into for really evaluating the performance of an AMC company. The second parameter for me is understanding panel holders. What are panel holders? It's basically mutual fund distributors. How many mutual fund distributors are there and how many are growing on a quarterly basis? Mutual fund distributors are people who sell the mutual fund that this company, the mutual fund schemes that this AMC company is releasing on a yearly basis, and the mutual fund distributor achieves a kind of commission in return of selling the fund, right? How much of their annual revenue is coming from these mutual fund distributors is extremely paramount for understanding the growth trajectory of an AMC company. And if there are mutual fund distributors, there should be also physical branches. How many physical branches they are having and how many they're planning to grow on a quarterly basis or on a yearly basis. If not physical branches, what is their digital presence? How much of their penetration, social penetration, social media penetration, how much of their growth is coming from social media is equally important, because in India's growth story, there's a lot of retail investment, a lot of awareness created by common man investments, that a lot of people who are coming into the workforce year on year. As you know, India is having the youngest population, a very strong, human capital dividend, and to be able to understand and cash in on the dividends is very critical for an AMC company. How much of their investments are coming from SIPs is also a very crucial parameter. And then, if there are so and so schemes, how many number of schemes do they have? How many of those schemes are coming under equity schemes? How many of those schemes are coming under debt schemes? How many of those schemes are coming under passive schemes? These numbers are equally very important for an asset management company to declare on their quarterly reports. If they're declaring these reports, it's also very important that the company declares its growth trajectories being conservative or aggressive. Some of the very good, asset management companies, which is a quant small cap fund, that's owned by the Quant Fund. It's known for its small cap fund, which is how aggressive it is. It's promised a lot of growth, but they've slowed down in the last couple of quarters. So for the company to really judge whether their strategy is still aggressive or conservative is very important for the investor to know. Another thing would be the number of folios and the yield they're getting from each of these, from the assets under management, right? If there are X number of mutual fund distributors, how many of the mutual fund distributors are selling how many of those folios to the common man public who are buying those schemes? That's an important parameter as well. So I think I've come across 10 different parameters. I'm not sure if I could club some of these parameters and just give a small checklist. Hopefully, I'd be able to do that once I get a hang of a couple of more con call reports of the asset management companies that are releasing their results after the quarter two. Until next time.